Hello and welcome to this week's Productivity Enhancer. Today we're going to take a look at a quick and easy way to create a panorama out of two or more photographs in Photoshop. Now for those of you who grew up using Photoshop and really haven't had that much experience with film, creating a panorama out of regular 35mm film, not panorama specific film, was very difficult. It involved a lot of literal cutting and pasting, and even still the outcome was marginal at best. However, with digital film, and especially the addition of Photoshop CS6, creating panoramas out of two or more separate images is actually really easy. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got three photographs here. Right now you can see that this is the left portion of a building with a really nice graffiti art. Then we have kind of the central portion, and then the end portion. And we want to merge these three photographs together in the hopes of creating a panorama. So before we actually merge any of these photographs together, it's important to note that I have done a little bit of lens correction and a little bit of adjustment. And that's just to make sure that these three photographs are going to match up as best as possible. So now that these photographs are pretty well color corrected and lens corrected, we can merge them and hopefully they won't have any problems merging together. So what we want to do is go into our Adobe Bridge, and you can see we have these three photographs right in this folder. So I'm just going to box select them, go up to Tools, down to Photoshop, and here the second to the last one you see is Photomerge. So when we click Photomerge, we're going to get a little menu here that gives us a few options. So the first layout option you see is called Auto, and that's the best selection if you don't know exactly how these photos are going to fit together. I recommend using Auto whenever you can. However, if you are 100% confident that you want a perspective where more of the outside image is left and then it kind of gives you a little perspective towards the center, that's when you'd use that selection. We also have Cylindrical, and that'll try to merge the photos in this kind of bow tie effect here. Next we have Spherical, which will try to round out all of these edges and try to merge them using curves. Now these three options require quite a bit of computational juice. The last two are a little less strenuous on your video card. The next one being Collage, which basically just aligns the photographs based on the pixels in them, and Photoshop will order the photos according to how it sees fit. And finally, the last one, Reposition. This is just your basic moving the photographs around, and it requires the least amount of juice from your computer. Next, in the center, we have the files that we will be using for our collage. You can see these three images, which we've grabbed from our Adobe Bridge. If you want to add some more, you can always browse, or you can add open files if you have any open images in Photoshop that you'd like to use. And these three options on the bottom, we do want to blend images together. That's going to create that panorama effect where it's seamless. Vignette removal and geometric distortion correction, those are just different algorithms that Photoshop uses to not only align the pixels, but change them in case any slight modification is needed to blend the two photos. So you can experiment with these last two on your own. I'm going to leave them off just in the purpose of saving time. These last two selections do require a little bit more time if you do select them. But we're just going to leave it on auto, click OK. And then these three photos will be merged together, and you can see Photoshop working to do so. Now you see that we have a fourth window open in Photoshop, and our history shows a lot of different actions, none of which we've actually done by hand. This is all auto, part of the program. And there we have our photograph merged together in panorama form. So before we zoom in and take a look at what our photograph actually looks like, let's take a look at the right side over here and see what Photoshop is doing. If we hide this layer, you can see that Photoshop has grabbed this entire portion of this left-hand photograph and basically created a layer mask to hide the rest of it based on this cut right here. So let's go ahead and alt-click on the mask to get a better look at what the mask is actually doing. You can see we have very sharp edges which are dictated by the hard edges in the actual photograph. So we'll just alt-click to go back, and let's just toggle through these. You can see this middle section is kind of flowing diagonally, and it includes a lot of the sky portion as well. And finally, the last one is this chunk over here. Also, it's important to note that by merging these photographs, we do have a lot of white space or blank space on the corners of the canvas. So we are going to need to crop that down. So let's just go ahead and do that now and bring in our borders so we're not seeing any of the white. Let's see if we can get a little more height on this. And we'll click OK. And now Just kind of a quick fix. I'm just going to create a new layer, drag it below, and then use our paint bucket tool and grab this color right here and fill in this corner. So by no means is this perfect. This is just a really quick example. I actually just shot these photographs a few minutes ago, and I purposely did kind of a rough and tumble shoot where I just shot 3 photos, no tripod, and approximating all the angles. But now we can zoom in, so let's Control plus to zoom in and scroll side to side so we can take a look. It's not bad. It really is not bad at all. Obviously, if I was trying to market this image or use it in any kind of professional setting, I would want this to be lined up a little better, and I'd want to have a little more of the sky and a little better composition. However, for the purposes of this video, you get the point. Very easily can we combine 3 separate photographs to create one single panorama. So before I leave you for the day, I just wanted to point out the size of this panorama. It's actually 323 megabytes. That's huge. This file size is completely unmanageable as is. But the reason for all that size is because we have so much information going on right here, and the easiest thing to do would just be to go ahead and flatten this image, and that will decrease our size by almost 1/7, down to 50.2 megabytes. That's still a really large file size, but it's a bit more manageable than 300 and whatever megabytes it was before. So these are all very simple techniques and something that we can all take advantage of in Photoshop. So the next time you're out on a photo shoot and you see something that would be a great panorama, go ahead and try this technique, and you'll be amazed at how easy it is to create really nice panoramas. So thanks for watching this week's Productivity Enhancer. Until next time.